So Jeremy Saulnier's latest is hitting Netflix this weekend, and Hold the Dark looks incredible. So for this week's double feature, I wanted to pair his last film, Green Room, with a movie that it's got more in common with than you might think. That's Ridley Scott's Alien. Now what's interesting about these two movies is structurally, they're pretty close to being like the same thing. They don't quite sync up like Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon, but it's close. So Green Room is about a punk rock band who stumbles onto a crime scene in the green room at a skinhead compound where they've got a gig, and Alien is about the crew of a deep space cargo ship running afoul of, the now iconic acid-blooded xenomorph. Feels like the same movie, right? But if you look a little closer at the narrative structure of each of these movies, they really are the same movie. Each movie opens with an introduction to the main characters. They're blue-collar, scrappy, very down-to-earth people. They're stealing gas to keep the van running, or you've got Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton talking about their pay.
Before we dock, I think we ought to discuss the bonus situation.
Right.
Brett and I, we deserve full shares, right?
Quick little tangent here, that's actually my favorite part of Alien and Aliens that I think the rest of the franchise is missing. Like, I'm here for the everyman getting stuck fighting the xenomorphs, not the researchers or the billionaires or the scientists or whatever. Anyway, in both movies, there's a sudden change of plans. Green Room has the band getting stood up for a gig, but there's this other gig that they hear about. And even though they know it's dangerous, they need the money, so they go. In Alien, Mother, the computer brain of the ship, detours them to answer a distress call. And they know it's dangerous, but they go along with it because they need the money. And it's not just narrative beats. Both films use some stylistic choices in similar ways. There's a section in each of these movies where the main characters are approaching this new destination, and it builds tension and hints at the danger up ahead. Green Rooms is a little more atmospheric, the way they use the score, and it is very moody, but the effect is the same. There's also a beat where the main character of the film gets overruled. In Alien, Ripley wants to abide by the quarantine protocol, but Ash manually opens the airlock to let the search party back in with the facehugger attached and all. In Green Room, Anton Yelchin's Pat expresses some doubt at playing the Nazi trolling punk song that was his idea to begin with, but Alia Shawkat talks him out of it. There's another interesting wrinkle to the structure of these two films when they get into Act 2. Now, while the crew of the Nostromo is dissecting the facehugger, trying to figure out what's going on, in Green Room we see both sides of the equation trying to figure out what to do next. Patrick Stewart is scary as hell in this movie, if you haven't seen it already, by the way, and when the movie shifts its perspective onto him, it'd be like if in Alien we got to see the xenomorph really coldly and matter-of-factly deciding how best to kill the rest of the ship's crew. And as the movies go on, there are all kinds of interesting little beats that line up like this. The dynamics of the teams change, plans are hatched and then they fail. We discover that there are other motives at play that are out of our main character's control. There are all kinds of things like these that these movies do in exactly the same way. I actually did a little bit of math to see if the events lined up as a percentage of the runtime, but because they spend so much time walking around the ship on LV-426 when they first discover it, the whole thing gets a little thrown off. But watch them for yourself and pay attention to the structure of these films. Story-wise, they're both clean, really efficient machines and great examples of how to make a thriller. So that's your double feature for this week. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. What other movies can you think of with this kind of structure? And as always, be sure to subscribe to CineFix for more double features.